Good morning, everybody. I hope that this video finds you all healthy and safe, and we will start out with the core practice. So find a spot that's comfortable, relax, and close your eyes, and take deep breaths. Nice job. So today, I am grateful for Mr. Trudeau. He has been very helpful to me over the last few weeks. He helps me with the technology and getting things set up so that I can do these videos, and also helping to take care of my sons while I'm able to do this stuff with you guys. So I'm grateful to Mr. Trudeau today. All right, so we're going to finish chapter 7 of Ramona's World. Yesterday, Ramona and Beezus got in an argument over spelling and what was important about spelling. So we're going to see what happens at the end of this chapter. After that, Ramona and Beezus stopped bickering so much, and Ramona continued, with tiresome help from her family, to muddle along with spelling. When progress report time came, she delivered her envelope to her mother without peeking. A progress report is like a report card. Mrs. Quimby read the report, smiled, kissed Ramona, and said, "Good work. I'm proud of you." Then she turned the report over to the habits and attitudes section, frowned, and read aloud. Ramona's spelling will improve when she decides she wants it to improve. Mrs. Quimby looked at Ramona, but all she said was, "Well?" "Mrs. Meacham is mean," Ramona explained. "If we get all the spelling words right, she gives us hard words and calls them reward words as if they were some kind of treat. They aren't. They're really, really hard words, like foreign and quarantine. The kind of words where you don't know which letter comes first. I think you should go talk to Mrs. Meacham and tell her that she's mean." "And what do you think she would say to that?" Mrs. Quimby asked. Ramona thought a moment. "She'd say I am a horrible, stupid child with bad habits and attitudes, the worst fourth grader she's ever had, and she can't wait to get rid of me, and she never wants to see me again as long as she lives." Mrs. Quimby did not seem upset. "Do you really think Mrs. Meacham would say that?" Once more, Ramona thought before she answered in a small voice, "No, but I'm tired of spelling." Mrs. Quimby said, "So am I. So is your whole family." "Except Roberta," Ramona reminded her mother. Mrs. Quimby ignored the interruption. "From now on, you're on your own." She meant it, because after that, no one said, "Come on, Ramona, let's go over your spelling words." Nobody said, "How about a little spelling before bedtime?" Nobody cared about Ramona's spelling. Ramona began to feel like no one cared about her either. Her mother was busy reading a new book for her book club or comforting drooly Roberta, who was teething. Beezus was either talking on the phone or doing her homework, and Mr. Quimby was in the basement refinishing his grandmother's chest of drawers for Roberta's room. That left Daisy, who had no trouble spelling. One afternoon when she had come to Ramona's house, the girls were looking for something to do. Daisy picked up the sports section of the newspaper, which was lying on the coffee table, and began to read aloud as if she were an excited TV announcer. "Crash, splash, $25 cash back, no down payments for 6 months." Ramona picked up another part of the paper and read in a stern voice, "Stop sneezing, get rid of dust, mold, and fungus with our duct cleanup system." Here, a dramatic pause. "And keep it clean." Both girls found this funny. "Sounds like what Jeremy's room needs," remarked Daisy before she read in a dreamy voice. "Planning a romantic wedding?" "Not right away," said Ramona, scanning the newspaper. "Here's a funny letter somebody wrote to some people who do income tax stuff. They put it in their ad." "Boring," said Daisy. Ramona ignored her and read, You J.K. Barker people really know your stuff. I should have come here last year, and I'm going to come here next year. She frowned her disapproval. Daisy was indignant. They shouldn't put words like gonna and shoulda in the newspaper. Mrs. Meacham wouldn't like it. Or maybe we should show it to Mrs. Meacham, suggested Ramona, so she would know it is okay to use them because they're in the newspaper. Daisy was doubtful. You know Mrs. Meacham. She'll march right down to the newspaper with her red pencil and I know. Ramona was inspired. Let's write to the tax people. I bet they made that letter themselves. Daisy was enthusiastic. Ramona found paper and an envelope, and the girls went to work composing their letter. Dear tax people, Ramona wrote, because her cursive was better than Daisy's. There are no such words as gonna and shoulda, which you put in your ad. You set a bad example for children who are learning to spell. We think you made up the letter yourself. Ramona added the last sentence. There are better words than stuff. Daisy read the letter carefully to make sure they had not misspelled words. They both signed it, including their ages. Ramona addressed the envelope and included the Quimby's return address. Then they ran to the corner mailbox, mailed it, and forgot about it. They had other things to think about. That was why Ramona was surprised a week later when she came home from school and her mother handed her a long envelope addressed to Miss Ramona Quimby. No one had ever called her Miss, except when they were joking or were cross with her. This looked serious. The return address read J.K. Barker, Certified Public Accountant. Ramona, are you having problems with your income tax? Mrs. Quimby asked, behaving as if she were serious, even though she was joking. Oh, Mother, you know my allowance isn't that big. Ramona tore open the envelope and pulled out a crisp sheet of paper, a real grown-up business letter addressed to her and Daisy. Only then did Ramona remember the letter they had written, a letter they did not expect to be answered. This letter read, Dear Ramona and Daisy, I goofed and you caught me. I did make up the letter in the newspaper, and I promise never to do it again. Not when two sharp-eyed 9-year-olds read my advertisements. You must do good work in school and are sure to do well in life. When you earn millions of dollars, please bring your income tax work to my office. Cordially, J.K. Barker. Ramona was so impressed she reread the letter. Grown-ups almost never admitted that they goofed. May I? Asked Mrs. Quimby. When she had read the letter, she said, This is great. Mrs. Meacham should be proud of you. Ramona ran to the phone. Daisy, as she had expected, was every bit as excited as she was. Like Ramona, she could not wait to show Mrs. Meacham their real grown-up letter. The next morning, Daisy met Ramona as she got off the school bus. Together, they accosted Mrs. Meacham and held out J.K. Barker's letter. Mrs. Meacham read it and said, Good for you! This world needs more people like you to keep things in order. May I read this to the class? Of course, the girls agreed, and while she read it, they tried to look modest. Then their teacher fastened it with thumbtacks to the bulletin board for all to behold. Everyone was impressed, even Susan. Yard Ape, looking straight ahead, smiled, but Ramona noticed that out of the corner of his eye, he was looking at her. Ramona felt good, better than she had felt since the first day of the 4th grade. And that's the end of the chapter. Chapter 8 is called Peas. I'm not sure what that's going to be about, but we'll have to find out tomorrow. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye.